we have this vision of solving the fragmentation of crypto world. This comes through the interop solution that we have, and we call it Avail Nexus. So
Mm-hmm.
Nexus is what really solves the interop.
I actually haven't seen one single episode of Naruto in my life, and I'm kind of ashamed about that.
That's okay. We'll get you to watch it one day for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big movies, cinema, music, everything. I grew up with them, but I haven't seen one episode of Naruto, so I really need to get my ass and watch it.
We'll get you there for sure.
I always like to start with this question, Naruto, because I want to know exactly what kind of people are in crypto. So from my point of view, I categorize them in the people that were born into crypto and the people that had like a career before crypto, had like a life different, they didn't catch crypto from the beginning. I want to know, who are you, Naruto? What have you done before crypto? What pulled you into this rabbit hole?
Yeah. Well, I discovered crypto when I was in college. So this was 2017, and I had my first exposure. And like this is a story I tell to everyone because uh, it's very funny because my roommate, he comes in and he's like, "Do you know what is crypto?" And I'm like, like Bitcoin." And I'm like, "I know what Bitcoin is. I've never looked into it. Like I saw it on websites, like those torrent websites and everything, but I never
Mm-hmm.
like really looked deep into it." So I was like, "Yeah, I know what it is, but I've never like used it or have one." So he's like, "It's like stock. It keeps going up. Do you want to like buy?" And I was like, "Sure." So we made our account, and we got some crypto back in 2017. I think Bitcoin was 3,000, Ethereum was 300. So it was like fun. So I was a broke college student, honestly. And then comes 2020, I started like working full time in Web 2. I worked as a software engineer for, like in corporate America. Did a lot of work in C. So 3.5 years of my life were completely into C, on like how things go. We built large models for supply chain companies, and I worked in a
Mm-hmm.
robotics team where you would basically, work with robotic arms and stuff. I was not really like the AI engineer. I was more of a software engineer, but I was in the team there. So I worked there, got promoted, and then at the same time I was also doing crypto. Like I actually started doing crypto dev at the end of 2020, 2021, early 2021 is probably right. Like right
So
before NFT
basically,
started. Yeah.
so you studied computer science.
Yes, I went to college for computer science. I did bachelor's in computer science, and then I also did a bachelor's degree in philosophy.
And how did that path actually lead you to Avail and landing a DevRel job?
Oh, it's weird. Like working at Avail was more like I was thinking, where should I head next from my Web2 job? Because Web2 jobs are very boring when you work in a company of like, 10,000, 20,000 employees, or I think 10,000, but like you have
Did you
like
work
so,
like in a cubicle
yeah, yeah,
before
exactly. Yes.
COVID?
Yeah. So it's exactly like, you're in cubicle and then you're working same Jira task every day. So I wasn't really sure what to do. And then I was doing the Solidity dev a lot on the side. I was doing freelance work on the side as well. And at the same time, my Twitter started like gaining audience or like followers, and I started talking to more founders. I started talking to more engineers, devs, marketing people, people who are like working professionally in crypto.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
that's when I realized like I love educating people about crypto or like what's going on, what's the current meta. And that's when I was like, yeah, I think it's the right time to like join a company. So I just tweeted for fun, and I was like, if there's anyone hiring, let me know. I got a lot of leads, a lot of people reached out. I got few offers as well. And out of all those, I chose Avail because I'm very aligned with the team. I love talking to my co-founders Prabal and Anurag. They had a great vision, um, and I was like a cultural fit. Like I was an actual, I was like the fitting piece in a puzzle kind of situation that time. So I was like, yeah, this is the right job for me, and yeah, I joined Avail.
So what exactly is a DevRel? Because in my head is like a developer with BD skills, but I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, a lot of people are confused on crypto Twitter for like last 3 years on what a DevRel is. Um, And my answer is very simple. It really depends on your company and the culture and your KPIs. For example, a DevRel can a lot of in a lot of companies, DevRel sits in product roles or like under product team. So like at least at like Avail as well, we sit like right below product and engineering. So like we're closely working with our engineers. And then a lot of different companies have DevRel in their marketing team as well. So it just really depends on what is the need of the company. But a DevRel does multiple things, and this is why I like being a DevRel because I can be on the BD calls. I'm always on calls with Kyle, who's like one of the best BDs, one of the best BDs I've met in the space, right? I
And a great
sit
person, I met him too.
Yeah, Kyle is a great
He's a
person,
great
right?
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Kyle. So I go on calls with him when it comes for BD time. I go on calls with the marketing team. I put in my thoughts over there as well. Um, a lot of times, or like most of my days are like right under product and engineering team. So basically, we do everything. Um, and we kind of become the bridge between all the different teams as well. So like if we have to tell something to marketing like hey Nexus or like Avail GA whatever like we're launching, these are the updates. So we try to like break it down to the marketing team in like simpler words and like how it can
To be
work for the teams.
digestible.
Exactly right. So that's what a DevRel does. I think DevRel does like 100 different things. Community is a big part of it. DevRels are always there. I do believe that you still need a community manager, but like DevRels also do a lot of community stuff, a lot of education stuff. So it's like pretty much think of, using if you have like 100% of your energy, so you're basically dividing, 15 to 20% in every single department, but it also depends on where your project is. For example, if you're a pre-TGE company, so you're more over like, documentation and then the marketing side. But if you're post-TGE or you're in the middle of like testnet or integrations, then
You want
you're
to onboard people.
engineering and BD. Exactly, yes. Exactly, yes.
So Naruto, for the people out there that don't really know, what exactly is a vendor and how does it fit into the interop ecosystem?
Yeah. So Avail, I think, as much as I remember correctly, Avail started back in 2020 uh, in Polygon, and then Avail, kind of like spun off. We raised 75, I think 80, around that number, and we have this vision of solving the fragmentation of crypto world. This comes through the interop solution that we have, and we call it Avail Nexus. So
Mm-hmm.
Nexus is what really solves the interop. But before that, we needed like something that can actually like be used by all these rollups and app chains that are
So the
coming in.
DA.
So the DA, yes, and the DA was our first thing that we actually were building while Anurag and everyone was working at Polygon or like internally, and then DA was the first product that we shipped. So like it's a state of the art DA layer that works really well. It has ZK pros, so validity pros for the data postage, and the chain really works fine, right? So like the product is really good. It's working. It's live on mainnet. We did a lot of work in like last a year and a half, and now we are like expanding the block space as well. So like, I think in few months you'll see the DA itself upgrading from a few MBs per block to 10 GBs per block, which is like a big feat. But then from now, we always had Nexus in our roadmap. Like a lot of people ask me, like, "Oh, are you guys pivoting to like an interop?" No, we always had like from day one, we had the idea that we will solve the interop solution, or like interop dilemma, right? So
Mm-hmm,
how does
mm-hmm.
it fit? Is you are looking at hundreds of chains, or let's say 50 L2s right now. You have assets in multiple L2s, but you need it on one. And that's what we're trying to solve. You do not need to go to different bridges. You do not need to go somewhere else to like, bridge your USDC, USDT, or anything else, or any other topic. So yeah, I think we are very close to solving it. Almost, we will have our alpha soon with the mainnet and stuff, but we're very close with that.
So basically, you can say Avail has like three products right now: data availability, Nexus, and Fusion, which is not launched yet.
Yes, Fusion right now is not launched, and this is specifically because we think that Nexus needs a lot of engineering work, and that's why like most of the team is focused on Nexus, and then we also have a team that is working on Fusion. So yeah, but Nexus is like our main goal for this quarter.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially because nowadays we've seen like a lot of chains popping in. So everybody after the L2 mania, everybody says, I don't think we're gonna see another L2, or I don't think we're gonna see another L1. We have too many L1s. But now institutions come into play, and you see Arc, you see Stable, you see Plasma, you see Hyperliquid, which has its own chain. So at the end of the day, you need something like Nexus if you have fragmented liquidity, right?
Yep, exactly that.
Yeah, I like. I mean, I remember when I read the article about Hyperliquid, because I know Nexus. Basically, in Hyperliquid, initially you could have just deposit by Arbitro, and with Nexus you can deposit from 9 chains, 9 different chains that Avail
Yes,
supports.
yes. I think right now it's 10 plus after Hyper EVM.
Hmm. And how does Nexus make that possible, and why is it crucial for app chains and rollups in general?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Nexus then. Think of this way that, like, like the example I was giving, that what if your assets are scattered through multiple different networks or chains, right? So right now, if I, so like right now, one of my wallet, it has $100 in Polygon, $300 on Scroll, 400 on Arbitrum, and so on. Like, the multiple different chains, and then a lot of money on like Hyperliquid. But now I wanna use that, that's $1,000 that is scattered across 5 to 6 chains, on a DApp on Hyperliquid. Now,
Mhm.
my initial work would be I can do a few things. I can if I'm using Ravi, or if I'm using some other wallet that provides the support to move the assets internally, that's one. Or I can go to any bridge and then I can change through that. Like, there are really good bridges, Cross, Bungee, D-Bridge, all of these. The problem with, you know, this is a user experience. It is not, for me, I will have to go to maybe different bridges if I don't find the right routes. For example, and I would not name like the companies here, but like one company does not allow any kind of USDT support, another would not allow any different token, or let's say new chain launch. Let's say Sofon, right? If Sofon has Sofon is not supported on any of the bridges, then your essentially in a problematic situation where you don't know, you have to like take 10 to 15 minutes on your Google, see which bridge supports it, then move it there, then move from that bridge to some other place. So point is like the user experience is so bad even after like so many years and so much work on infra done.
Okay.
So it's a problem, right? So what we are doing with Avail Nexus is think of any Hyperliquid app. Um, let's just say Hyperliquid main app, right? If Hyperliquid main app integrates Avail Nexus, and it's like, of course, it's a very big ask, but if it does, then what happens is like I just go on the Hyperliquid app, I click on move my assets from all chains to Hyperliquid, and it's going to take one transaction. I don't need to go to any another website. I don't need to like Google which bridge is the best. I don't need to constantly pay multiple gas fees from different network. Because if you're using Nexus, you're only paying the gas fee in one token or one side, and everything else is handled, right?
So basically, it's an unified balance.
Exactly, unified balance. Yes, that's what we call as well. We have unified balances, and people can look on how much balances that they have in total from different chains, and then if they want to move it to any particular chain or not.
But you have to deposit, like from every chain, you have to deposit into Nexus. And after
Uh,
that, it doesn't really matter.
no, it doesn't matter. You basically do. Let's just say you are on Hyperliquid dApp, right? So you just click on move your assets. It's gonna move all those assets from different chains into Hyperliquid in one go. You don't need to do anything else.
And I saw something that you're gonna do like some cross swaps also.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, similar to Universal X, I think they are doing that, right?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
there will
yeah.
be cross swaps as well. And this is specifically because think of multiple different chains, but you have multiple different tokens on these chains too. And some tokens are supported, some tokens are not supported, and then bridges have, it depends on what bridge or what project, but bridges also have some limitations on which token they can support. We want to make sure that we support every single network and we support every single token. So that means that if you have, let's say, a Pepe in your Arbitrum and you want to move to USDC, you want to change it for USDC in Optimism, and then you have like multiple different of these swaps, you can use all of that. So like there are like multiple of these things or multiple ideas that we have. Solana would be like a big unlock for us. We're working on Solana as well. So with Solana, people can like constantly, take their Sol or like SPL, then move it to like different dApps or like, EVM side and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the major problems, because solving EVM with EVM is kind of simple, but Solana with EVM is not that simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, this quarter the focus is on Nexus. Avail data availability is live, and starting next year, you're gonna focus on Fusion also. Can you tell us what is Fusion?
Fusion, I would not talk too deeply on Fusion side for now, since everyone is focused on Nexus. But the Fusion vision is basically a staking mechanism where you can stake your Avail, and that happens like, in most of the companies or like projects. But you can also stake Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana on the side as well. This is, let's say, like a lot of people, a lot of whales have like those assets, and then they do not have exposure to other assets, so they can use that for the staking mechanism.
Makes total sense. Naruto, now I want to deep dive with you a little bit into the stablecoin wars and institutional adoption.
Yeah.
The reason why is, I mean, I love the article that you did. You really know the space, and I think you can really bring some good opinions.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you both know, stablecoins have always been like the real PMF of crypto. But right now the hype is bigger than ever. So institutions are onboarding, new chains fighting for that flow. How do institutions view crypto today versus like 2-3 years ago?
It's a good question. So the thing is, stable coins were really good back then as well. It's a great business. But there were too many SEC regulations. You know, the previous SEC didn't like it. The previous government wasn't that supportive. And everything really, like, even now hinges on the US market, even though like dollar is going down, and all those different side of things. A lot of power still reside in the US market. And because of that, 4 years ago, these things were not the easiest thing. I'm pretty sure, like, the legal teams of, big stablecoin companies would make bank. They still do now. But it was really hard. And right now it's easier because regulations are clear. You have Genius Act now. So people can kind of trust. And that's why institutions are going big on them, because institutions have a lot of money. They were always in crypto from the start. 2015, 2016. I have friends working at some of these companies, and they had the exposure back then. They just
But it was not very public.
they cannot really trade it with the institution's money or so, right? But individually speaking, everyone had like exposure. Everyone was like thinking or like knew that Bitcoin's going to be a big thing, even back in 2017, 2018, while other institutions were not. Like, it really depends on what kind of institution you're talking about. But now everyone believes that crypto is the way forward.
Do you think this maturity into crypto right now is killing the cyberpunk dream that was initially the Bitcoin dream, even though I think Bitcoin is still a institution play? Do you think they are killing the dream? They are killing the trenches? How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a little bit sad, and I've talked about this before on my Twitter post as well. And I actually do believe that that dream of cypherpunk, or like the ideology, is kind of dead. This happens anytime when like institutions, big players, whales, not whales, but like big players move in, um, or like you legalize. Like for example, in 2018, 2020, 2021, the idea was like, oh, decentralization. We gonna debank the banks, or overthrow the government. All these like different memes that you look at, but like there was like an actual cypherpunk ideology, and that attracted me a lot. Like I studied about crypto anarchism in my philosophy classes in like 2018, 2019, and a lot of people were like very interested in it. But as soon as like big companies start moving in, it becomes a little bit hard. You can still get decentralization on technical level. That is not that is possible 100%, but it is not possible uh, to have that, to have those trenches, to have those degens working on it, or like just the cypherpunk in general, because everything, I don't think like uh, everything will be that private or will have that privacy that we talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the dream that you can make like 10, 100, 1000x kind of died. It's very hard to do it right now, which is good in a way, even though we still seen a lot of pumps and dumps, a lot of rugs is still there, but could be something interesting to see exactly how mature this industry is actually gonna get, because as we gain trust, the people that are actually professionals, let's say like me and you, have all the opportunities in front of them. But the people that are scammers, because they were born into the cyberpunk dream, right?
Yeah.
They use it from their own interests.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think they're
Exactly.
gonna die at some point. They're still not that gonna die, but being like maybe 10% of the whole industry, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, and I'll be very honest here, um, I um I wrote this paper on anarchism, and this was like my philosophy paper. It was like 30, 35 pages long. And what I realized is like anarchism never really worked in real life, and it's not really gonna work even in crypto, like the cypherpunk.
Mm.
Um, would then, like if you remove institutions, if you don't onboard the masses, then you're only stuck with 100K, 200K people talking about crypto all day. Like, it's an echo chamber at that point. So I think institutions are needed at some point. A lot of people who got in crypto early really made it big, which is great. But now it's fairly an institutions game.
Yeah, and it's also a paradox because the cyberpunks are talking about let's get crypto to the people, let's onboard that 1 billion, like everybody says, but we don't want institutions because we are cyberpunk. So how can you get that 1 billion without institutions?
Yes, exactly.
We've seen new players launching their own layer ones or starting to launch their new layer ones. So talking about Arc, Plasma, Stable, they are pushing really, really hard. Even Tempo, which is backed by Stripe. How do they change the race? How is everything changing? I mean, why do they need their own chain?
Um, so, well, just trying to be honest here. Everyone wants, a little bit of control of what they can build. And big companies like, Arc or Stable and Tempo, Plasma, all these people, they have the money resources and then everything else to actually do something really well. They can do it. Why they want to do it, or why there is a race, is solely because they realize that after 5 years, one or two of them will actually make it very big, like how USDT and USDC are right now. So one of these will be in the same league as the other ones. And that's the whole idea. Like, when the dot-com bubble happened, 98% of companies went bankrupt, but then 2% that survived became basically the biggest companies ever. And that is the whole idea. Like, you push something so hard that you become the survivor after like a big crash.
Yes, makes total sense. I mean, I think the next one maybe that makes sense to us your own chain is the PayPal stablecoin, right? If everybody's going into that direction.
Yes, exactly.
Also protocols. I mean, protocols like Hyperliquid are issuing their own stablecoins. It was this whole stablecoin wars who's gonna win the proposal. You covered it very well. I think it was actually very bullish that native markets, which is native on Hyperliquid, won that proposal and not, I don't know, like some other issuer that is USDC or someone else. Do you see that model scaling? Do you see other protocols doing stuff like this?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So we've seen protocols like Hyperliquid issuing those stablecoins, and we've seen native markets actually winning. But do you see this kind of model scaling? Do you see like every protocol issue their own stablecoins?
I think so, yeah. There are like I'm talking to a lot of different projects, and then this is, like with the Nexus idea, Nexus integration, and I see like a lot of products moving towards like launching their own stablecoins. PayPal was actually very early. This was, I think, 2023, 2022, that they launched their own stablecoin, and they had to go through a lot of regulations. But now it's fairly easier to like launch your own.
which metrics do you feel matter the most when picking long-term winners, as you've said earlier? I mean, who's gonna win the race? What are you looking at?
Depends on it's see to see a winner, it's like really straightforward answer, like a stacked team, uh, resources all the way up, connections to government, and all these different things, right? What you see on crypto Twitter is not really true because, for example,
It's a
Poly
bubble. That's
yeah,
why.
crypto Twitter is a bubble, right? But for example, Polygon, really great team. I have a lot of friends there. And a lot of people on crypto Twitter, they keep on saying, "Oh, I will never use Polygon. I will never use, I just don't like it or whatever the reason is." Um, but the funny thing is that it has a lot of transactions. It has a lot of volume. A lot of retail actually uses Polygon to move their assets as
And
well.
they are pushing a lot in the emerging markets, I saw.
Yes, exactly, right. A lot of people in Asia and India, South America, they use a lot of Polygon, but people in West, specifically like North Americas, they don't use it. And like just because one single continent is not using that particular blockchain doesn't really mean that they are not good enough. Um, Very simple ideas like people in America do not use a Samsung phone. I use it, I love it. And people use iPhone a lot, but I genuinely believe that like Android phones are better. Most of the South America or like other parts of country world uses that. So it's just literally the optics of people on crypto Twitter, which is very narrow. But in general, I
Now I'm
think
very
like
biased.
very biased. Yes, very biased. Exactly. I'm like very bullish on Bira chain, and people in North America, I don't know, like they don't talk about Bira chain anymore just because like price went down. But
Yeah.
like they're actually building. A lot of people I met in India and I met in Southeast Asia, they said like they love Verachain. So it's like, you know, just crypto Twitter's bubble, and a lot of these companies are actually doing some good work, and it's easy to figure out which is the winner.
Yeah. Maybe a dumb question, but
Mhm.
what exactly is gonna happen on all these new chains? I mean, it's just gonna be like a payment chain, so just similar like Plasma. You can get some APYs if you
Which
deposit.
chain are we talking about?
Those stablecoin chains.
The stablecoin chains. So as much as I know, and I haven't looked deep into it, I'm still like looking. Plasma, Arc, all of these, they'll have two big use cases. Number one is, of course, Eagles and like different payment related or like revenue generating kind of apps. And the second one is it's gonna be distribution. That's where companies will win. For example, Tempo did with Stripe. So Tempo uh, is actually set to win because they get the distribution network of Stripe. Every single Stripe vendor can use stablecoin at this point. You combine this whole thing with launching Stripe cards or credit cards, it
Mm-hmm.
takes out other credit card companies out of business because now Stripe has vendors, and people can also take like a Stripe card or something, can just transact in stable coins with their card, can pay directly there. Vendors can integrate it on their front end or whatever, or like however they wish, and then people can just pay them whatever the stablecoin is there. So it's actually like pretty interesting to me, and like these are like the two major cases that I think of these companies winning. But there might be more. There might be more that I'm missing.
There might be like some DeFi crazy stuff over there, not doc, like phone number, APR, and stuff like that. But
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm. You've mentioned a little bit earlier that DevRel is similar to a community manager, and that you actually started building your profile in 2021. You now have 20,000 followers, you have a good reputation online. How important is personal brand to make it in crypto, to get a good job, to be visible out there?
It's very important. It's I think a lot of companies reached out to me in past, uh in the past, and they keep on reaching out, and I love them. I'm sticking to Avail, for sure. I just love Avail's culture. But in general, like, not just like companies, but like different projects that are just starting, they come on to you and then they ask for your feedback because you're talking about something that you're constantly using. And that's why, like, it's very important. So, like, the importance is, like, if you want to get a job, sure. If you want to get into like the inner circles, that matters too. If you It really depends on what you want out of your personal brand. You can make money by creating content, then you become a KOL kind of person. Or you can, do an advisory role and all those different things. For me, it is just fun, and that's why I do it. Like, being on Twitter, talking to friends, talking to people, you don't get that in Web 2. And that's why, like, I transitioned to Web 3, is because I get to be online on Twitter 24/7, either making fun of others or making fun of myself. Like, people make fun of me too, and that's funny. Like, you cannot
Yeah,
have this
yeah.
this you cannot have this kind of relationship with friends or coworkers of the same industry, in different Web 2 structure. Like, when I was
Yeah,
working.
we
Mhm.
sometimes tend to forget that we need to have fun, not just
Yeah,
work like fucking
exactly.
robots.
If you work at Amazon, your world is literally just Amazon. Like, your work life is literally just Amazon. The people that you talk to are the Amazon employees. But you're not, like, kind of looking at the tech. If I'm working
You're
at
not
Avail.
talking with eBay.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm Yes, exactly that. Like, if I'm working at Avail, I'm still talking to people at Stable. I'm still talking to people at Plasma. I'm talking to people at Birachain. And you don't see this cross-pollination in, Web2 world. And that's why, like, a lot of, like, the knowledge gets very limited if you live in Web2 for a long time. Um,
I think in some companies you even have like an NDA. You don't have to talk with other employees from the competition.
yeah, for sure. Like, it's more like, I think people just do not have a means to talk to them. Like, what are they going to talk? Microsoft, or sorry, Oracle is using some kind of computing service. What do I talk about? Someone else. But here, I know that if I talk to Privy, then at some point, like, Avail and Privy might have a partnership of some integration of sorts, right? So it's really a fun place, and that is why, like, I love being on Twitter, is because I get to see what everyone is building, what everyone is doing.
Yeah, and the best part because I started focusing. I started focusing on my profile from 1 year, 1 year and a half, but I really doubled down this year in August, and I saw that actually, if you could build a good profile and you want to reach to anybody, it's actually very simple. You just have to reply in their comments, send a DM, and people say, "Oh, I have like this number of followers that are come on. Oh, you look legit." But if you send like a cold DM to somebody in Telegram, the
Yeah,
chances for her to respond are, I don't know, 5%.
for sure, for sure.
And
Um,
it's crazy. Please.
mhm. No, no, go on, go on.
And it's crazy that because of this Twitter culture, we actually found out we invented this CT lead role. What exactly
Yes.
is it?
I've talked to a lot of people about CT roles, and we had, like, some spaces as well with Hype and everyone else. So there was, like, Benji and Alex and Wenmoon and all these different people. Um,
Yeah, a lot of people got hired
Yes,
from Twitter. Yeah, that's the
yes.
crazy part and the curious part.
Yes. So the CT lead doesn't really mean that you are 24/7 on Twitter, or like you're like, just posting on the brand account. That's what people think. Like, oh, CT lead is what social media manager. It is not. It is not marketing. It is not, social media manager. It is not
Is it more
product
like a
marketing.
spokesperson?
Yes, it's more like think of like a diplomat, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
are representing your company in front of like hundreds of thousands of people on Twitter. Now the funny thing is, like, I genuinely believe that founders are the best DevRels, founders are best BD, and founders are best CT lead.
I
The
agree.
problem is that they have so much more stuff in life to do, that they cannot, just do everything.
Yeah, they have to put out fires.
Exactly. Like they have way bigger things than me. Like the things that I cannot even be as a, person to talk or like work with. And they have too many more things than what like just being on crypto Twitter all day. So that's why you need a person who is face of the company. And that's what, like, DevRels used to get hired before, because DevRels were considered the face of the companies. Now it is changing a little bit. But in general, it is pretty much same thing. Like, I'm not a marketing guy. I did not study marketing in college, but
Yeah, but you understand marketing a lot, even
yeah,
though
yeah, yeah,
if you didn't
yeah,
study it.
yeah. I think it's someone told me this, and I really liked what he said. He's like, um, the marketing comes natural to me, and I'm kind of glad or honored to hear that. But coming back to CT lead, I think CT lead is basically someone who can be on Twitter, and understand what the world, or like the crypto Twitter world, is talking about right now. What is important right now? Last year it was L2s, infrastructure, then it was Pump Fund. Right now it is stable coins and stable chains. And then right now again it's like pump fund stream, or like,
Yeah.
hyperliquid, or all those different things.
But as we've mentioned both earlier, city is like a kind of a bubble. I mean, at some point in time, I've seen companies actually starting doing this. I mean, the distribution of the messages should be into Web2 platforms as well. So more YouTube, more TikTok, more Reels, more maybe even Reddit. I don't know. So the actual city lead actually is going to become like a whole social app lead.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. What exactly makes someone strong in that role? I mean, one, you could say they really need to understand exactly what happens,
Mhm.
right? Maybe they need to like be able to communicate very properly and to make connections, because we've seen like in Twitter, it's very hard to actually hit that algorithm. So you need to make a lot of friends to actually support yourself.
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry, I kind of missed that.
Yeah. What makes someone strong in that role? I mean, you said
Um,
earlier
hmm,
that,
yeah.
please.
I think being friends with a lot of people really help. But also being able to understand what everyone is talking and why everyone is talking about it. Like why everyone is talking about Hyperliquid or Esther or anything else, right? And then two more things that people don't really talk about is, one, being creative with your tweets. So like I can tweet anything about Hyperliquid, but it will not get a lot of engagement if I am not creative on how I rephrase or paraphrase that, tweet.
Mm-hmm.
It needs
Your
to be
personal
funny.
touch.
Yeah, it needs to be funny. It needs to be witty. Like right now, people can go on ChatGPT and like, kind of generate whatever they want, but it's not gonna be fun. And that's why like I never use ChatGPT for any of my tweets or any of my research, because I want to have like my own opinions and my own creative touch, right? And then the second thing, sorry, the last one, is you need to be chronically online. You need to be using Twitter more than other projects. Sorry, the other social media. Like after using Twitter, I don't have any other social media. I don't use Instagram. I don't use Facebook is like for boomer. I don't use LinkedIn because my whole app is literally Twitter, Telegram, sometimes Discord.
Yeah. How long? How long did it took to actually build a strong profile? 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, it took me good 4 years. But like I think I started with like 0 followers, of course. Like I had like some 50 weird followers because I've been on Twitter since like 2011, 2012. So I had like weird follower count of 50 or 100 people, but I never used Twitter. And then once like I moved it completely to like Naruto and everything, it I started like looking and started interacting with multiple people. So first, it was a big thing for me to get that first 1,000 people. It took me almost 6 months to get 1,000 people, and then it just went, parabolic. I started getting like 2,000, 3,000 a month, which became like a really good. Like you just need to put one or two good banger tweets, and you get like a lot of following. And then you also need to talk to different people, increase your network, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, then that's how it works in the real life also.
Yes, exactly.
But you can't really do that in crypto, because in crypto everybody's around the world. So that's why we have Twitter and Telegram and Discourse.
Exactly. Yes, exactly that. We are, I think 90% of crypto, 90% of crypto companies are remote. So it gets really hard for us to like do anything. And I love it. Like I love working remote. I don't think I can work from office anymore. But it gets really hard to see what others are doing. And too many calls also like kill the productivity. So we do like the crypto Twitter to like, make sure how things are going.
Yeah, for myself, I really had a great experience working in an office, and to be honest, I fucking miss it. I miss the office. I miss going to somewhere to smoke. We have an office here. It's our office, but people don't really want to come to the office, so it's mostly me and one of my colleagues. So I miss working with a bunch of people,
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, Naruto, one piece of advice that you want to give to builders, to people that want to break through to crypto?
So I think one of my best advice for builders, specifically devs, is to keep on that curiosity alive. Like what happens when so the problem with new builders or like new devs or new people coming in the space is that they come in the space and then they just want a job. They want a job in like 6 weeks or 4 months, 3 months, and it's not really that easy as well, because people in crypto, like companies or projects, they want some senior roles, and no one would want to have like junior kind of people with no experience in crypto. So being curious on like seeing what people are talking about, why they're talking about, that's very important. For devs, I would say you need to keep building and keep coding most of your days. That's specifically so that you can see what are the new EIPs coming, what are the new upgrades coming, why Solana matters, why like some other chain does not matter, which is better, that kind of stuff. So like these things, being curious and like being actually coding are like the two important things. And then of course, like if you're marketing, BD, the networking and being on crypto Twitter, all these things are very important as well.
What do you feel are the biggest opportunities in the next couple of years? Because the game is changing. I feel like the game is a lot harder right now. You really need to be a professional. It doesn't work like you made some internet magic money. So what are the biggest opportunities in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think there are some really good opportunities to work in, or actually like if you are a founder or like want to be a founder very soon, there are some good opportunities to build payment infra or like payment rail for institutions or for other stable coins. You can dive into these ecosystem and build something really well. If you are here for like the BD dev and just want to be an employee, which is completely fine as well. There are too many opportunities in like different, L2s and dApps. I think now we are seeing applications or like apps taking over the infra. Like no one really cares about infra anymore except for like the companies that are building infra and the companies that are using infra. Because at the end of the day, if you are a single user, let's just say that I am, or like my brother who's not in crypto, he does not care about infra. He is not a computer science background. So if you are someone who is in marketing BD side, you want to use these dApps. You want to see how these things work, and I think that really works. But yeah, those are like the major things, honestly.
Naruto, you've said earlier that you travel a lot and you like a lot to work remote. What keeps you motivated day to day? Have a clear head? Do you have like some routines, healthy routines?
Yeah, I love traveling, but I also hate it because you break your productivity and you break your routine. For example, when I'm traveling for events, it's not really the best thing for my diet, for my gym. I'm sleeping, let's say 5 hours. So it's really hard. But when I'm home, I'm pretty much logged in. Like I wake up at 8 and I'll be working until like 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening. And this can be Avail work, this can be my own personal stuff, exploring crypto, looking at like different documentations, looking at reading different articles, all those different things, and then I just go to work out and gym. Like I do not have social life, sadly. um I did back before I was in crypto, but now I do not have any social life ever since I got into crypto.
Do you have like any mentors or a book or a paper or podcast, something
Mm.
that really shaped how you think today and have this leader attitude that you have?
I used to read a lot of books. I still do. So a lot of books shaped me when I was growing up, when I was 17, 16. I had a good, what do you call it? I had a good phase of like breaking down existential
Mm,
crisis. So I read a lot of books. These were mostly like, books about the world, um, philosophers, and different other things. And that's why I did a major in philosophy in college. Like that's why I went to, college and I studied philosophy. So I really loved Nietzsche. I loved John Paul Sartre. Like these are like my two biggest philosophers. So I read a lot of these books for sure, but these are like philosophy side. On the podcast, I do not really listen to podcasts because I have attention span of an ant. I have
yeah,
very bad.
everybody has them right now. I mean,
Yes, exactly, right. So what
internet
I
fucked us.
Yes, exactly. So what I generally do is I take an hour or 2 hours aside every day to read some articles about crypto outside, tech in general, on like what's happening in the AI side, what people are building, and then some non-fiction books about like anything around the world. So like right now I'm reading this book which is called Liar's Poker. It was written by the guy who made the movie Big Shot. It's a really good book, and it's literally about what happens on the Wall Street and how like Solomon Brothers worked out and everything. So like these are the things that I do, uh, kind of like shape that thinking. Um, but I always think that I can do more. There are like too many things that I can do more. So
Yeah, I feel you, but at some point in time, we need to take a break.
yes, yes, for sure.
Where do you feel we are in the market right now? Do you feel like this is the top of the bull run? Do you think we're gonna see more in 2026?
I think we can do better from here. I think we can still go a little bit higher. Um, Institutions are coming in. Solana that just happened with Forward Industry. Kyle Salami like doing really good work with Forward Industry. So Solana is also like peaking, and I genuinely believe that we will see one more all-time high for Ethereum, and I'm hoping that we cross at least 5K this year, and then I'm pretty sure we'll see one more all-time high for Solana, which would be, I think, $300. I think the last when Trump was coming in, I think it was 18th or 19th December, Solana reached $290 or something around that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep, yeah.
so my bet is that we're definitely gonna see 300. But we'll see what happens.
Naruto, thank you a lot for your time. I really value the discussion with you and have a great time.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot. I love talking to you. Good chat here.
Bye bye.